Okay. And we're back. First one's uploaded. Cute. Okay, doke. I have eaten. Need to clean the glasses off. Okay, so we have this static cast thing where we can explicitly convert one type into another using static underscore cast. The type within, what do we call that? Within angled brackets. And then what is being converted within parentheses. Go. Static underscore cast, angled brackets, parentheses. Okie dokie. Let's see if I can keep the foot out and sit relatively properly for my back's sake. Okay. Cool. So whenever we see angled brackets, the thing between them is probably a type. Okie dokie. That's why templates have them. Because we pass the template the type, and then it does whatever we've said it should do for the type. Okay? Oops. That's way too far. Never mind. Never mind. Okie dokie. So we can include input output for main, and then we can use the print function, which will just do the standard character output, which takes an integer parameter, but we've passed it a float argument. So we have to convert. Well, we've passed it a double. So we have to, because it's because floating point values are defaulted to doubles in C++, unless explicitly given the F suffix for being a float. So we can static cast it, which will convert it. So wherever it receives that value gets that new type version, which should be 5. So once it prints a 5. So we can try. We need input output stream. Need a main function for the program to work. We'll have a print function. We'll just do print. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Well, I don't know if print is print already a thing. There's printf. That's print format stuff. What does that even look like? Oh, good. I thought inline. Inline is scary. I don't know what that means yet. So rotate this way. Lock it in. And then tighten it. Now we're good. Cool. Alright, let's see. Yeah, the voice is fine. It doesn't even matter that much. Okay. We'll do. Bring it back a little. There we go. Cool. Because I'm sitting back now. So now we'll do. We're going to print some. We'll just do print value. What is the value? We'll do 5.5. Which is a double in this case. And then we'll do void print value. Int value. And then we'll just standard character output value. Can't do it though, because we're converting from a double to an int, which means that it's a narrowing conversion. Meaning that we have a wider amount of data and we're going to a lower amount. Means we're having some data loss going. It's called narrowing. And we're converting int to float, type to type. So, solution. This is technically allowable, but it's just a warning. So what we can do instead is static cast. And we want it to be an int. Oh, shit. Oh, it knows. Yeah, int. And then we'll just call it 5.5. Oh, so it's just showing what the function is here. Okay, it doesn't know this is what it's getting. So we're putting in this argument here, and the argument is a static cast of this float, a static cast to this type, and it's 5.5. So we're static casting to the int type, a double. Oh, that's cool. 5. Ooh. How might I use this? I wonder what would happen if I just do true. That's one of those crazy words. So it should think that that means 1, right? Just like false means 1, maybe. A what? It said expecting a fucking something. It was like declarator. It was a weird word. Okay. Need input output. We want to do yeah, we'll just do yeah, I guess we will do a function. So we'll do same shit. So what if I did 5.5, it's probably happy. Oh, it's not. Why? Print value, invite. Oh, it don't have a return type set yet. Duh. So what if we go back? Nice. Just wanted to see if I could pass it Boolean values. Cool. Oh, fuck. Excuse me. Okay. If I do that instead, it prints the integer version of this. Oh, wait. Hold on. Same result. Wouldn't have needed to do that because characters and integers are kind of interchangeable, it seems like. Yeah, because the values don't convert. So the whole point is we use this when we need to change the value. Okay. We are explicitly converting the values. But integers and characters store the value the same, so it doesn't matter. Alright, this thing is hurting my nose too much. But it was helpful in shortening how much of this I use. Maybe. Still have a lot, I think. Oh, so if we do... If we include input output, and then we do We're doing standard character output. What are we gonna output? We're gonna output just A. This outputs A. But if we instead output that, then it prints that, because the output of this is, that's cool. I really like this IDE. Wow, integrated development environment, baby. So we hover over this whole guy. What is he? It's from the namespace standard. And this is, oh, some sort of output stream. Huh. Here, it's just within the language, so I don't care. Int 97, take that, huh? Character 97. But then we take the whole thing's return value. Int 97. That's cool. That's fucking sick. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, so we could do something like the actual conversion. So we need input. We could do A has the value, and we could do static cast to an int, and then we get A. So I'm saying here's the character 97. Here's the integer 97. Output them both, see what happens. Yo. What the fuck? What are you doing? Why is the building whack, bro? Wait, why is it running whack? It's saying it properly, but it's bro, is my fucking keyboard whack? What is happening? I'm closing this shit and reopening. What the fuck is going on here? I think it was because it was open in the background for some reason. So we're doing standard character output. We're saying, hey, this character 97A has the value. Need to have a space there because there's no space after the character. Has the value. We need to cast to an int. That same literal. Or we could do value, initialize it to be this. Like that. It's doing it again, dude. Why does it automatically exit? I don't understand. No idea. That's fucking pissing me off. Why is it doing that? Input, output, main. Oh, is it because we're not returning? Is it really? There's no fucking way. No, it's not. It's like, what? Okay. Bro, what the fuck? So it's It's like it's exiting twice. And staying open in the background. Okay, weird. I don't understand it. Oh, it stays in the foreground. Okay. It's like the Z order in Unreal. It's like it's higher. It's taking priority over other shit for some reason. Makes no fucking sense. We're explicitly converting it, so it's fine. Yeah, so I can have like need input output, print value, and we'll pass it 5.5. This one will give a narrowing conversion. So we'll do that's it. Narrowing conversion because we're going from this double to that, but if we instead do cast to an int 5.5, now we're cool. And it's 5. So if it was like 5 point whatever. 5. Cool. Okie dokie. Excuse me. There are other types of casts. Using static cast to convert characters to integers. If you print a character, it prints with character output, it prints the character. But if we want to print the integral value of it, well, characters are integrals, so I don't know if you'd say that, but if we're saying the variable that the integer stores, then that the value that the variable is actually storing, it's storing 97, so pass it in the static cast from 97. Or from the character's value. So that it's being treated as an integer instead of a character. The argument evaluates as an expression. When we pass in a variable, it's evaluated to produce a variable or a value. Okay. Okay, it's too fucking hot. We're back between the AC. Alright, I think I'm gonna get the sleep going again. 8 hours, and then, or at least the bedtime. And then I'll start doing game dev for 30 minutes before bed again. And then all I have to do is just start game dev early enough to where I can get as much time as possible in. So I get home, eat, and watch D&D while eating and getting ready. And then by the time I've finished eating, I'll have to figure out what to eat tomorrow. I've ran out of rice. Could do bread, but I don't really like sandwiches that much. Fuck, need more rice. Damn, maybe I order more, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I do. I eat and watch D&D, and that'll be like, fuck, maybe even hour max. And then hop straight on. And then when I need to eat again, pop off, eat, pop back on. And then once it comes time to do game dev, I do that for 30 minutes. So I'll do 15 more minutes of this. I think that's the strat. That way it forces me so that at the end of a year, I have experience in Unreal and in programming. I want to have both. I mean, programming is much more important. But, well, programming is more important to my end goal. My game itself, I could probably manage doing Blueprint and get something working pretty well. But in order for my game to really be what it needs to be, I need to enter the VR industry and harness whatever's there and make shit work, figure out how to get Scent working so that in 50 years, once I'm plugging myself into the Matrix, so that my consciousness never dies, I'm locked into my own game and I'm good. I've got the Scent, I've got the touch, I've got all of it. Don't need taste. I mean, that'd be cool, but that's just unrealistic. Scent is doable. I don't know how doable. Need to figure out how many. What is the answer for the most basic? How many different Scent components do you need? I don't know. That's the question. Do I need 200 different ones? Maybe that's not feasible. What about the effects of smelling the things? The effects of smelling the compounds that are combined to make recognizable smells? Sure, grape dye or grape whatever artificial flavor tastes good, but it might be fucking carcinogenic. So, whatever is good, whatever is not bad for health, that increases immersion. I'm doing that for sure. So, game dev is important to get there, but programming is also important to get there. Because without the programming, I'll be stuck with current limits. And my game has to be VR, and all the VR games fucking suck. So, okay. So, it evaluates as an expression. Yes, we know that. We passed it a variable. It is evaluated to produce a value, which is then converted into the new type. Yep. 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 Okay. The point is that this evaluates to character still. But then the type is changed. So the point is the type is being changed here before anything else happens to it. Then we store that in a temporary variable, which is then passed to wherever it needs to go, which avoids a narrowing conversion in the case where we're putting a float into an integer. Okay. Signed conversions. Signed can be converted to unsigned and vice versa. Ooh. If the value being converted can be represented, it's unchanged. So like 4 as a signed integer into 4 as an unsigned. But if it's wraparound, I'm curious. Okay. Saying unsigned int to that. Then int to unsigned. It's fine. If it cannot, it will be modulo wrapped. Oh, that's what we call? Okay. Yeah, but do we call it that? Oh, wrapping around is called modulo wrap. Okay. So it can't fits, so the remainder goes around. So -1 is 1 out of the range, so it goes to the last. If it's unsigned, it's modulo wrapped. So if we had -4 being converted to the unsigned int, then it would be whatever is the max for that value. So it'd be very large, likely. If it is signed, going to unsigned. Oh, sorry. If it's from unsigned going to signed, and it can't be represented, it will be wrapped as well. Okay. We have -1. We're casting him, so it goes to the max for -1. And then we have the max for -1. Unsigned. So the point here, -1 is 1 outside this one's range. So it wraps around and is the maximum. So it wraps around by 1. In this case, this is the largest unsigned. So it's here. And we're then assigning it to be, or it's there, and we're then assigning it to be signed. So we're going from unsigned to signed. And it's too large, so it wraps around. Okay. And the reason it's -1 I'm curious why it's -1 specifically. I'm trying to understand it. So this is -1. It's a variable, or it's a value anywhere within this large ass range. Then once we go to signed, it is outside the range So it wraps around by 1. In this case, we're at the end, we're at the high positive range, which is outside the negative to lower positive range. So I'm surprised it doesn't wrap around all the way to the last. Or maybe it does, but it keeps wrapping until it hits -1. Let me test. I don't want to learn anything. I want to learn everything at least as in depth as I can in the beginning, instead of passing anything by shallowly. So if we have unsigned int value, and it is 4294967 Yep. And we're going to output it as the static cast to a regular ass signed int value. It's -1. So we did this. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We did 0, 0, 0, 0. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, cool. So what's happening? Is we have, this is unsigned, and it's from 0 to 4 point whatever the fuck, and we are here, but we could honestly be anywhere here. And then there's signed, which goes from 0 to -2 point to 2 point. This guy doesn't fit. So we wrap around. He doesn't fit. So if this was -1, -1 is outside. So we go to the end and go back by 1. In this case, because we're way out here, we go to the end. And this was -1. It's only off by 1. So we go here and go back 1. But in this case, we go back because we're too high. So we start from the bottom so we can count back up into it. For this one, we're too low. So we go to the top and count back. But we are 2 point whatever the fuck billion too low. So we count up and up and up and up and up and up. And we end up here being -1. If we were a little lower here, we count and we go up and up and up and up. But we weren't all the way here, so we don't count all the way to -1. We only count to here. So we end up at like -100,000. But if we counted even less, we would only count up even less. And then less and less. Okay. So if we're in this range, and we're going to this range, and we're here, we end up going to here, and counting up by this difference. Boom. Which in this case is 4 point whatever. This is 0. This is -2 point whatever. So we end up counting this divided by 2, which is -1. If we instead go from this guy, -1, to this guy, which is 0, well, it goes to the front. So we start here. so that we can count back, and we count back by 1. But if we instead had started at negative 250, we would go back 250. Excuse me. So whatever this is minus 250. Okay. I understand now. Just wondering how this was going to negative 1, but it's because we count back so that we can count up into it. So if we're too low, we go forward so we can go backward. We are reversing the range. So if we're too high, we go to the end of the possible range and count backwards by however far ahead we are. Or, yeah. Or far behind. So if we're at negative 1, or below by 1, we go to the tippy top, and then we go below, because going below will bring us into the range. We don't go from negative 1 to below, because then if we go back by 1, we're at negative 2, we're even below. We have to go to the place where we will become in range. So if negative 1 is out of range, we go to the maximum and count back, and we're good. But if we're out of the range, we go to the back so that we can count up into range. Okay. Type conversions next. Fuck. Okay. Alright. Time for game dev. Oh fuck.